Hello, everybody. Thank you for the introduction and good spelling of my last name. It's really tricky in foreign languages. It's really a pleasure to be here, and thank you for having me here. And I will just say that this work is a work in progress of myself and of my dear colleague, Muammer Kavazovic, who unfortunately is not with us today because of the obligation. We share the obligation on some subjects at the faculty, so he stayed to do everything. He is also a full professor, and we work together in the field of the hate studies. The reason when I came up with the idea to do this work, as I realized that I, as a member of Gender Equality Council, maybe will be attempted to sugarcoat the results or to blur the results if they are too negative because they affect my work directly. And I asked my colleague, can he work with me to be one objective evaluator of the process during this work, and he agreed, and really, unfortunately, the results are not good for us as a Gender Equality Council and for myself in that matter. But basically what I'm talking about, just a couple of information about where I came from. I'm from Bosnia and Herzegovina. You know, for Bosnia and Herzegovina, mostly because of the war with the dissolution of ex-Yugoslavia, unfortunately. And since then, we should pass a long way, but we did not. But basically, we are just going in circles. And I'm a professor at the University of Sarajevo. University of Sarajevo is the oldest and the largest university within the Bosnia and Herzegovina. We are a small country, but still we are proud to say that we are the largest university. We were established in 1949, and until 1975 we were the only university. We have like 25. Okay, sorry, I don't like those type of the microphones because I'm always like at the verge of start singing, and you don't want that, and that's like what I'm doing this, but just correct me, thank you. And since the 1975, we were the only university at Bosnia and Herzegovina. Since then, a lot of publicly founded universities, and later after the war, privately founded universities are open at Bosnia and Herzegovina. We have 25 faculties in academia, so different variety of research centers, joint members, etc., etc. But the main thing is that the gender mainstreaming idea came to the university quite late, at the end of 2021, at the beginning of 2022. And in this paper, we will try to evaluate the work of the integration of gender mainstreaming. Oh, this one is working perfectly, but I'm just like doing this. When I hear myself, I tend to just take it away from my mouth, so I don't hear myself. What we decided to do is to evaluate so far work of the implementation of the gender mainstreaming at the University of Sarajevo. In questioning how to do that, we decided to use the translational model of organizational change and to use the organizational translations. Basically, organizational translations are the processes through which some general ideas, some policies, some policy actions are translated through a variety of programs and actions into day-to-day activity. And finally, they reach sustainability if they're successfully implemented and change the organizational culture and finally change the organizational structure. And then we can say that certain idea is implemented in a translative manner. We decided that the usual organizational changes and organizational translations happen through 4 stages. First stage is arrival of the idea. The second stage is materialization. Usually materializations happen in one of 2 ways or both ways, by establishing certain bodies, working groups, etc., or by drafting some documents that will be obligatory for the University of Sarajevo in this matter concrete. Furtherly, the next steps is translation into day-to-day activities, and finally we question the sustainability of those actions that are implemented within the organizational structure. The idea for our work came from the work of Eriksson, Zetterquist and Renmark from 2016 in Sweden, who used this model to study 2 Swedish Swedish government programs in gender equality in public and private sector. Later on, based on their work, Helen Pettersson and Brigitta Jordansson in 2022 also used this model to question gender mainstreaming in Swedish academia. So we also decided to use this model to question gender mainstreaming translation into the University of Sarajevo. Regarding the methodology, we used data analysis and interviews with the people who were responsible for or involved in a gender mainstreaming program and gender mainstreaming plans at the University of Sarajevo, basically the member of Gender Equality Council and actors of the quality control system, but we'll say a little bit more later about that. We used the semi-structured interviews with the open-ended questions. We used the guided protocol. We asked to record the interviews. We did the transcript and everything. And finally, in analyzing those data, we used thematic analysis complemented with content analysis where it was appropriate. And now regarding the results. I will present the results in those 4 steps that are usual steps within the organizational translation. The first step is arrival of the gender mainstreaming program at the University of Sarajevo. Unfortunately, this program arrived as a project. That is a project founded by UK government, and it is a project for 4 years. The project is implemented by the non-governmental organization, so-called TPO Foundation, and it is not especially designed for University of Sarajevo, nor just for Bosnia and Herzegovina, but it is a larger scale project that includes Bosnia and Herzegovina, Croatia, Serbia, and Montenegro, 4 countries within the region, and 18 universities. Some of the universities were publicly funded, some of the university was private institutions. So this is not a project that is designed and tailored just for University of Sarajevo, bearing in mind specific context of our university and our country. Also, it is important to say that TPO Foundation achieved the cooperation with all the universities and University of Sarajevo, and that University of Sarajevo signed a memorandum of cooperation within the project, taking the obligation of implementing all the steps that I planned with this project. Regarding the materialization of this idea, the materialization happened through 3 principles. First principle of the materialization of that gender mainstreaming idea of the university is the principle of appointing groups and committees. The second principle is the principle of delegation that we recognized. Basically, I'm speaking about the result and what we found out, how this process is happening at the university in Sarajevo. And the third principle is the principle of adoption of documents. Regarding the principle of appointing the committees, in October of 2021, the Senate, as the chief body of the University of Sarajevo, passed a decision and established previously mentioned Gender Equality Council. Regarding this principle, it is important to stress out that the members of the Gender Equality Councils, as you can see, we have 1 council coordinator, 5 members, and 1 person of administrative, 1 person for support, basically. Regarding the gender diversity of this council, we have 4 council coordinator is a female, 4 members are females, 1 member is a male, and this support person is also male. Regarding their expertise in the gender, all the members have theoretical and practical expertise and gender issues that is found quite important. But also regarding their power and influence, they all have power and influence, but not as a result of their position at the faculties per se, but as a position within the position of the body that is passed by the decision of the Senate. So basically they derogate their power from that body, and they can achieve an operational and substantial translation of the processes of the gender mainstreaming in the core of the organization of the faculties and academias at the university. Further on, regarding the principle of delegation, once when the Gender Council members decided what they will do and how they will gender mainstream the operations of the university, they saw that just 5 members cannot work the entire process in 25 institutions, because we function as the one roof institution as a senate, but every academia and every faculty has its independent bodies, and the principle should be translated and in those bodies directly. So since we don't have equal opportunity bodies at the organizational level, nor at the university, nor at the faculties and academias, we decided to use the committees for quality assurance at the organizational units at the university. But the question with this principle of delegation is the question that all 25 presidents of the committees do not have nor theoretical nor practical expertise in gender equality questions, and that is the reason and the issue how they will translate, not just integrate, but truly translate and make organizational change. The second question regarding those committees is the question of the complementary of the processes of this council and gender mainstreaming. Are those processes complemented or not? Can they be done together or they can't? And the basically answer is no, they are not complementary at all. And if we connect non-complementarity of the processes with the fact that the heads of those departments does not have expertise in gender, then we really have a problem, and we can ask ourselves, will our gender mainstreaming be translated in a transformative manner, or it will be simply integrated as some documents? Which lead us to the third principle, and the third principle is bring some documents. And we decided, as everybody, to bring some new document, and the document is a GAP, a gender equality plan for 2022-2023. Within that gender equality plan is the operative plan that offers needs of the action, lines of the action that has to be done in 2022 and 2023. We analyzed that operative plan from the aspect of the organizational translations, and unfortunately we established that all the actions will be simply integrated, and they are more integrative than translative and transformative per se. Most of the actions are giving lectures, putting in a curriculum subjects, but elective subjects, not obligatory subject of gender equality, etc., etc. That will just integrate the gender equality, but not in a transformative manner. That leads us to, 5 more minutes. Oh, no, please. That leads us to the third. When I see 5 minutes, I said third step, and third step is in a way that how those principles are conceptualized, how those translations are conducted, and how we choose our translators. That led us to 2 principles, and we can conclude and derive 2 principles of the organizational translation of the gender mainstreaming programs at the University of Sarajevo. Unfortunately, first one is minimizing the disturbance of the status quo in the academic organization. What does this mean? This means that we decided that gender mainstreaming will be just one of many directives, and that we will integrate it in existing operations, or the operations from the GAP we will integrate in the existing programs at the university. So not to make too much fuss or too much disturbance, so we avoid the situation that you had. And the second principle is integrating and merging GMA programs, gender mainstreaming programs, with the already ongoing programs of the Commission of the Quality. And we already said that the compatibility of the processes is non-existing, so therefore we can just guess what will go down. And at the end, regarding the stabilization of these translations, we try to achieve stabilization by delegating the actions to the committee that is permanent structure at the university, because there is a question what will happen when we run out of the money within the project, and without the fundings for the project, what will happen when the Gender Equality Council stop existing. By the way, we are not paid. At the University of Sarajevo, you are paid just for being a professor, and everything else you just do for free. So that's how we work. And what will happen with the Gender Equality Council later on, and who will finance the actions from the GAP. Therefore, finally, we can say and conclude that we did not reach stability. The further problem is the question of the allies who will continue the program once the foundings are run out, because right now, questioning the general public at the university, we found out that only managers at the institution have a knowledge about gender mainstreaming programs, but basically teachers, students, and administrative staff does not even know that gender council is existing at the University of Sarajevo. That much about stabilization of the translation processes. And at the end, I suppose that I'm having just a minute, and I will say just the last sentence. Unfortunately, there are a lot of things that we can conclude that they are really bad things. And overall, we can conclude that the gender mainstreaming programs at the University of Sarajevo are merely integrated. And we cannot speak about the transformative translations that will question the cultural context and structure of our organization. Unfortunately, that is so far. We already used 1 year of this program, and we will see what will happen in the next 3 years. I hope that we will have a chance to keep you updated. Thank you.